All right.
And we're live. We're live on 4 YouTube channels. Holy shit. What up, guys? We got Steve Rakin Profit over at rakinprofit.com to my right. He's going to be explaining the whole buy box dilemma. We're going to have him do that tonight. And then I was kidding.
I got it, man. I've done enough research on it. Now.
He's ready to rock and roll. We got Taylor Jones, my co-host from Miami Sellers Conference. We'll be talking a little bit about that. We got Joji Davenport, the infamous chemistry teacher who's been flipping books, making 100K plus a year doing that. And then we got Victor Galejos, who's also been flipping books in a different way. I'm curious how much it affected you, the whole buy box change, because I think your business was more reliant on the prime bump. And you guys both created BookMine. So welcome to the show. And obviously we all run Books and Beyond together. So
absolutely. Let's see.
Taylor's back.
Yeah, hello everyone. Why don't we start? Oh, and there's Taylor Jones.
Yes.
Taylor's back.
I'm streaming to my audience now.
Awesome.
Victor,
you're also muted, just so you know that. But what's going on, everyone? So let's shout out some people in the chat. I'm seeing Sophia. Sophia was at Books and Beyond last September. We got Rusty. We got Pete. We got Nathan. Awesome, guys.
What's up, guys?
We got Scott in the house. All right. Yeah, so which should we start with? Should we start with these Amazon buy box?
Yeah, I think we should. That's kind of like the elephant in the room. Steve just left. That's funny. He said,
"Yeah," because he knew that's where we were going to go.
Nervous.
First up,
yeah.
Taylor does mainly wholesale and a little bit of private label, and
yeah,
like I haven't really noticed too much of the buy box. It just seems to be used books. Like you haven't noticed a buy box being weird, have you, Taylor?
Not that I'm aware of.
I do notice like on some of these listings they give MF buy box like pretty liberally, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But in the used book space, it's crazy. The used buy box is being given to the merchant rather than FBA in a lot of cases, even if they're the same price a lot of times, right?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We have Katie in the house, Brian. We got Jan, Craig. We got Garrett. Shout out Amazon Jones. Garrett started his YouTube channel as well. Katie there has her own YouTube
Katie just
channel.
did like a big book pickup recently, and I saw her post. She was in the grind.
Katie's killing it. Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's talk about these buy box changes because everyone's losing their minds in all the Facebook groups, and it's for good reason. Like a lot of people's sales have literally just fallen off a cliff and tanked. So I'll start with I guess it's a hot take. I got a lot of heat for saying this, but
yeah,
if your business model is built on the prime bump or getting the prime gap, meaning if you're kind of neglecting what books are actually worth and you're only going to try to sell books in what used to be this prime gap where, the low merchant's like $4 or $5 and then the buy box is 25. Like if that was your business model, I would seriously be concerned with that sort of business model because of the fact that the way you're making money is by exploiting a feature of Amazon Prime, which again, I'm not here to, cast shade on anyone that's done that. I'm just saying that it seems like that is most at risk right now. Like that's the first thing that's up. So anything else, Victor, do you want to say about that?
Yeah. So the way that we source, the way that both me and Joji source books is we look at the black line, right? I actually don't take advantage of the prime bump. Yes, it happens sometimes, but when I'm sourcing, I'm thinking the worst case scenario. What is the black line and whether or not I can sell it for more than the black line like here in the next couple of months. So if this book can sell for $90 in August, the black line for $90 in August, I'm looking to buy that book for under $40, right? And if I can, then I'm doing it. I'm not looking at $90 plus the prime bump is what is actually $90, and that's why I'm going to buy it. I'm actually looking at the merchant fulfilled number. So there's a lot of people who source with that higher number in mind, thinking, oh, okay, well the buy box is $100, so I could probably source this book up to maybe $60. And those are the people that are getting in trouble right now because they're basically that has kind of gone away, and we don't know how long it's going to stay. We're seeing Amazon testing out things like by the hour almost. It seems like they have sometimes like 2 or 3 used buy boxes. They'll have a very good, and then a FBA buy box, and it's just I just really think there are programmers right now that are out there trying to figure out what the best way to probably have at the end of the day probably have 2 used buy boxes. They're probably going to have a FBA used buy box and then a merchant fulfilled buy box, and they're just testing that out because as someone who I'm seeing them trying to code this, that's what I'm seeing it as. And if you know anything about booksellers, usually March is our slowest month, or is definitely my slowest month. So if I had to really mess up the code, I would mess it up in March. And so I think that's what's kind of happening. And I think I think that's where the end state is, that probably there's going to be a new buy box and then 2 used buy boxes. That's where I think it's all going to.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Steve?
So my question is, I definitely agree. I've used BookMine. I've done, quite a few A to A flips, BookMine flips. And it's true. Everything that you guys teach is, looking at that black line. We're not valuing it based, you can take a look at a textbook and, someone who uses a scanning app, Scout IQ, Scoutly, which they're great. It might say you could sell it for $90 and you might be able to sell it for $90 and take advantage of that. But if you actually went into Keepa and took a look at that lowest overall used offer, that black line, maybe that's really only a $65, $70 book. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to try to sell it for maybe 85 or 90. You're not going to undercut the whole market. But if I hear you correctly, you're buying items at a price with the mindset that you're going to sell it at the true intrinsic value. So even though right now, you're probably having to lower some prices because the merchant fulfilled is getting that buy box. You're not getting as killed as other people possibly because you have that margin and that profit baked in, right? Like if you get that used buy box price, flipping A to A, that's like a cherry on top of the cake versus now. So I guess my question is, since merchant fulfilled is obviously getting prioritized, are you having to lower your prices to win that buy box to get that sale?
Well, we're in March, right? So it's my slowest month anyway. So I sell about 10 to 15,000 in March. It's really a dead month. So really, I can't tell much of a difference. Some days I'm actually swinging really high. I'm actually 50, 60% higher than I was last year. Sometimes I'm hitting just the mark. So I haven't priced anything differently because we've been through this before. Amazon's done a ton of different changes and then kind of goes back. And so I'm waiting to see whether or not this is a permanent change or where we're actually going to be here in a few weeks. So sometime in April, if this is still the case, then I'm probably going to start competing with the lowest merchant fulfilled price. But again, for me, that's not a negative because I already planned that in. That was already part of the plan. I'm buying books so cheap that even at the merchant fulfilled price, I'll be able to still make a profit.
Interesting. So it's almost like you haven't even really been able to have like a true assessment if your sales are going to get as knocked as some of these other sellers, because a lot of the sellers you see in like the book flipper forums and all the groups, they're mostly going to thrift stores, library sales. They're selling all season books for the most part. Or if they're picking up a textbook or a college book like you guys, they're pricing it now to sell. They're not timing the market like you guys are. So that's interesting right there. That makes total sense.
But what the interesting part is, a lot of people on the book flipper community are telling us that they're not selling much. But what we dug into the data some, and what's happening is that Amazon's giving the third-party software systems the wrong information. So they'll tell the third-party software, hey, the buy box is $60, but actually it's not. It's like $35. But they'll tell that software it's $65. And so there's these other repricing software that are competing with a ghost buy box that doesn't exist. Right. So they're over here $59.99, but who cares that buy box isn't there? It's actually $35. And so
which even on the Seller Central, they're showing the wrong information. Like if you look at the buy box on Seller Central versus Amazon, it doesn't match up.
Right. Yeah, it's giving the wrong information. So I think a lot of people are seeing that they're not having very many sales, and I really think it's because they're competing, with like these repricers that are not necessarily doing so well.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's challenging over here in the book industry right now.
It's challenging for sure. Yeah, it is weird. So like with Be Cool, for example, I can look at a lot of my books and it'll say on Be Cool that I'm winning the buy box at $59.99, and then I go to the Amazon page and it's like $37, and it happens to be like a merchant fulfilled seller. So that even happens with GoToLister as well, because it's not like it's any third party software's fault. It's like Amazon's
GoToLister. go-to lister is near perfect. I don't know what you're talking
Oh no, it is perfect,
about.
but it's
perfect.
perfectly.
Can we kick him out of here? No, I'm just kidding.
It's
You're not
perfect-
getting paid, Joji.
Yeah, it's perfectly displaying the wrong information that Amazon gave them. So
yeah, no,
it's not
that's
their fault
crazy.
at all.
I didn't even,
Yep.
Yep.
good for people like me. I actually don't even use a repricer. I've tried 2 times to get one going, and it just hasn't worked the way that I want it to. So that's interesting though for the people using repricers.
So I really think if you're starting to see like not very many sales, go in and actually manually reprice some of your items. I think that there's a better chance of actually selling your books than with these reprices right now, just because they're getting fed the wrong information.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
And it seems to be
I'm,
affecting people differently too. Like I asked a lot of my friends who sell like over 8 figures a year, and some are like, yeah, it's fucked. Like we're down 65%. 2 of them basically said that, 3 really. And then another mega seller, like one of the biggest sellers on Amazon's like, oh, like we're fucking crushing it, but they mainly do merchant fulfilled.
Mhm.
And I texted David this morning and I'm like, are you seeing, because he said it at first he said it was a net neutral, like the FBA sales decrease, but the MF increase. But I'm wondering if maybe he did get a lot more. Now he's saying it's like a net negative, even though he's not super FBA heavy, or maybe he's more than I knew in the past. But David's always been more MF, so you'd think it would help his business. But I'm wondering maybe if his units sold went up, but the prices were just so low, like $8-9 books, that it didn't really matter. So
that could be.
And then there's people like I have a friend in California. He does close to $1 million a year, and he's like a huge believer in conditioning your books, and he's only down 10%. And then somebody near him, same area, who knows if their business model is like that similar. They source books from different places, but he's down like 90%. So something's going on here. And I think people that have a lot of their inventory, even like cherry pickers who have a lot of their inventory that have that big difference in prime, where they rely on that prime bump, I think those people are really suffer, or just people sending in cheap books in general. Because if you're selling cheap prime books, then you have to compete with the MF offers, where if you had a high ASP, like 17, $18, even if you go to the lowest offer, that's still like, there's still a lot of meat on the bone if you MF a $17 book.
I wanted to pose a question really quick for everybody here. I've been doing a lot of research and just pulling a lot of data.
We got Eisen Ramos in the house. This is Rustum's son commenting.
Cool.
What's up, Eisen?
Yeah,
Gotta get
So
my-
guys, I want to ask the group, and I want to get your opinion here. So I've kind of come up with like 4 theories for why this is happening, and I'm going to run through it real quick, and I want to hear people's opinions and folks in the comments, and share like what theory do you think this is for like why this is happening, or add a new one. So the 4 theories I've come up with is, number 1, Amazon is prioritizing the overall lowest price. So theory 1, they just want the lowest prices, the Walmart, lower price is better for everybody. That's theory number 1. Theory number 2, Amazon is pushing sellers to merchant fulfilled because they're sick and tired of being like the FBA warehouses. They're filled up. They don't want to spend all their time, with the warehouse. It's expensive. Rent is up. Number 3, it's a glitch, right? I know the community likes that one. And then number 4 is,
That's our best hope, is that it's a glitch, because they'll just fix it, right? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Number 4 is what Avery said, the legal pressures, the FTC lawsuits, so on and so forth. And they're kind of coming up with like a tactic right now to try to look good in court, so it's not a monopoly, blah, blah, blah. Curious if you guys think it's any of those theories or maybe a different one, or I'm just going crazy over here.
I think number 2 and 4 can be true. Well, I forgot what was number 1. What'd you say?
Amazon's prioritizing lowest price. They want lower prices equal happier customers.
I think 1, 2, and 4 can be true. Sorry, what was 3? What'd you say?
It's a glitch. It's a glitch, bitch.
Yeah.
It could be all 4.
I don't think it's 1, because like I think they do really value the customer experience, and like of course in the buy box they're thinking about who has the best fulfillment, on time shipping and reviews and feedback. Number 2, I think that's also possible, but I feel like they've spent so much money building all these warehouses just to like push people out of FBA.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of
maybe, but like maybe it's like cheaper items. Like they don't want 80% of their efforts dealing with like 10% of their profitable items. So they're like, hey, how about we just cut like all these like really small items that are like worth $3 a piece or like $7 or or whatever, the average sales price of a book, and let's just focus on items that are going to make us a lot of money.
Yeah, to add to two, our sell-through rate of books is not as high or nowhere near as high as every other category on Amazon. So if you're trying to push something out of the warehouse that isn't moving quite quick enough, it could be books. So that theory two, me and Joji were talking about it a couple of days ago, that this could be the reason. But you don't know. It's a good theory. I do think it could be all four, just like you said, Romer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for sure it's not a glitch. And it's easy to see that when all of a sudden you see merchant fulfilled sellers winning the buy box. And then all of a sudden you see 2 buy boxes, FBA, and then you see 3 buy boxes, and then you see back to 1 buy box. It's like, I think there's just a lot of experimenting going on.
Yeah, I think it's experimenting. I think that's why it's not connected to like the repricing. The API is not talking to us yet, because I think the two teams didn't communicate with each other yet.
Yeah, you understand, right? One team is literally just going rogue, and the other team doesn't know about it.
Yeah. I think 4 has decent merit as well, just because, so if Amazon is getting, I mean, if you think about it, like from the perspective of like selling books in Amazon Prime in the buy box, like it is pretty scammy if you think about like this idea that Amazon will feature an offer that oftentimes is significantly higher than what is actually the market value of the book. And of course, you can make the argument, well, these people are paying more money because of the fact that they get the book shipped to them in 2 days rather than 10 days or 12 days or whatever. And that guarantees, satisfaction from the customer. But you could, like the FTC lawsuits, it seems like, I think it was brought on by the sellers about like a lot of sellers feeling like to get featured, these are FBM sellers, to get featured, they have to be an FBA seller, meaning they have to pay more fees than if they're just merchant fulfilling. So I could see how that could potentially hurt sellers, and I also think the buy box honestly hurts buyers as well, consumers. So I think what Victor and I came to is like we didn't want to worry anyone, like make anyone panic or freak out, because at the end of the day, like even if that is the theory, the FTC is suing Amazon, like the government's goal is to come out with a solution that helps customer. It's not like the government wants Amazon shut down. It's like they just want there to be fair practices. So if you think logically, like what is the most fair for everyone? Well, the fairest thing would be, like Victor said, 2 buy boxes.
Yep.
You have an FBA buy box that features a book that will get shipped to you faster. You pay more for it, but that. And then there's a used buy box below that's FBM. So it's a cheaper offer, but then the trade-off as a consumer is that you have to wait longer. So in that case, as the seller, you have the ability as a merchant fulfilled seller to be featured in the buy box. And then as a consumer, you get to choose between the two. So my thought process is that I think there's a lot of experimenting going around with the different buy boxes and, putting FBA here and FBM there. And then, because this FBA seller is in good condition and this one's in acceptable condition, we'll go and put the good condition. So I just think, like always, it's just going to take some time for the dust to settle. And I think long-term the outcome will be fine. I do think, though, that there will be pressure of kind of doing away with this massive prime bump that people are getting. So if that was your business model, I would say I would definitely pivot away from that. But a lot of people are like, I'm going fully merchant fulfill. Like I'm going 100% convert. And I think that's a little bit too drastic early on, in my opinion, but that's just what I'm thinking. So.
Yeah. I think, that the reason why I've been recommending people go MF, especially if you're smaller, like if you don't have an established FBA business, I think this is really exciting for brand new sellers, because now you can be a brand new seller, get sales on day one, listing books from your house and building up positive feedback. And another thing that's kind of been concerning me lately is students getting like section 3s. And in the last few weeks, me and Steve have had this lady, if you guys want, reach out. She'd be a great contact for your community too, but she's been helping our students get reinstated from section 3s with like eBay invoices, Goodwill. She got one with the eBay invoice and one with the Goodwill. Because in Amazon's terms of service, it states that you can source books from thrift stores, from libraries, and then
pretty crazy.
People get section 3s, they don't pass them, so it's very bizarre. Where was I going with that? I was just talking about, with the section 3. So if you MF, I've never seen someone get a section 3 if they just MF. Section 3s usually happen when there's like quantities of more than one item. You send in 2 or 3 books, even if it's on accident, like if you accidentally add extra quantity or something. And then, or if you're just like brand new and you're doing even like wholesale people or online arbitrage people are screwed, because if you're scaling and you want to get up to like 10, 20K in sales and you send a big shipment of like 20K in inventory inbound to Amazon, they're going to be like, where the hell did you get this inventory? Let's see your invoices for it. Let's verify your identity. And if you don't pass that, that's really where people are having issues. So I've been thinking a long time about recommending people do MF even before this whole buy box thing, just for that reason. Just kind of warm up your account a little bit, get some sales. And now, like, we should always be chasing the buy box. And if the buy box is being awarded to the MF seller, then there's no reason not to do MF. We don't know if this is going to go away in a week. So, like, I don't want people to, uproot their whole business model and start doing this. But
that's true. That's true, Avery. If your book is, like, say you're scanning books and you figure out that this book is not, the value of this book is, say, $20 or less, I would merchant fulfill it all the time. I would not think of a prime bump anymore and probably just merchant fulfill those books. If you find some really valuable books, say in the 40s, those are probably books I'd send FBA, but the others I would just probably send those merchant fulfilled.
Yeah, 100%. But MF's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you guys, is this issue, because, I sell, you guys know, I probably, most of you guys know I sell mostly new items. Obviously, I don't sell books as new. The publishers don't really like that. But this isn't affecting the new buy box at all, right? So let's be clear. I mean, this isn't affecting the new buy box at all. But my question is this issue only affecting the used buy box, or is this affecting the used buy box for video games and for DVDs and other items? Because I don't have that firsthand experience, and I've been asking people, but I haven't really been getting a good answer. So I'm curious if anyone here or anyone in the comments sells used items outside of books, and how that's affecting you.
Yeah, you've seen a few people, right? With the DVDs.
I've heard some people say that it's kind of weird for DVDs, or not DVDs, for video games specifically. But I don't know too much about that, so I couldn't speak about it too much. But going back to your point, Steve, I think is interesting. Where right now the used booksellers are the ones that are like panicking and crying out because the used buy box for books specifically, or at least the media category, seems the one that's being hit. But again, if you think back to if number 4 is the reason, which is that FTC is suing Amazon over these practices, I think it extends beyond just the used buy box. I think this is just like the beginning part of it. It's a testing phase, like an experimental phase, like a data gathering phase. So it's interesting that, again, March, generally February, March are the slowest months to sell books. Just historically, Victor and I have been selling books for, getting close to a decade now. And it's always February and March, the slowest months. So it would make sense that, hey, let's test it out there. But I don't see why it couldn't also be tested out in the new buy box and in other products as well, because it's not like the FTC is going, oh my gosh, it's the used books, guys. Amazon is just crushing people with specifically used books. It's more of a, hey, this buy box mechanic is not fair to sellers or consumers. So I would say, I would be cautious if I were anyone outside of this category. If you think that you're immune to it, I would say that probably there's a high likelihood that there could be changes down the road with those other things as well. So.
Yeah, just keep an eye on what's going on here, right? To see what's going to happen to this buy box, and then if it's successful, or if Amazon thinks it's successful, I think they're going to go on to other categories.
Yeah. I know you don't want to hear that, but you have to think about it logically, right? If you step from a bird's eye view, it's not used books that everyone's complaining about. It's the suit would be for unfair practices on that behalf of sellers and consumers, which is beyond just used books. It's everything that Amazon sells. So
I think I heard in some of the Facebook groups that this issue that's happening with the used buy box actually was implemented in the UK, I believe, 18 to 24 months ago. I don't know if this is true. Don't quote me. But I heard it was implemented in the UK, and that's it. I don't know how true that is.
It's in their terms of service in the UK. Like, they literally put it's a non-discriminatory buy box is what they called it.
Yeah. And it's also important to know that, right, the UK is different than the United States. We have different laws and regulations, but that could be writing on the wall, right? It seems like that's true, that does.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting terminology. Like, so they must be getting scrutinized for something similar. I haven't looked into like why they did it, but non-discriminatory is like a very interesting way to describe a buy box.
So what would you guys like give advice? What advice would you give to folks now who are, they're doing A to A, they're using Bookmind, they're going to thrift stores? Like, maybe we'll start with the people who are using Scoutly and Scout IQ. Like, what advice would you give to people when they're out there scanning now? Because we're so reliant upon looking at, the app, and does it go to ding, or does it say no? Is it green? Is it red? Like, what advice would you give?
Yeah, the inherent problem, right, Victor? We talk about this is that all those scanning softwares look at live data. They don't look at historical selling data.
Yeah, just
So
a snapshot of today, right?
And obviously that's because it's way more expensive to look at historical data than it is to look at live data. But I would say if you're somebody who is relying on the green and red, it will be pretty hard to do this business profitably. So I would say if you at least get a Keep a subscription, when you scan all your books at a library sale and you get 40 books, I would actually rescan them all with Keepa and just at least make sure that when you look at the black use line, like the book has value. Like so many people are buying books where the black use line the whole year is like less than $4. Like that's literally a worthless book. Like that is worth nothing.
Right.
But if the buy box is $19.99 or $17.99 in the old times, you could buy that book and send it to FBA. And if you get that prime bump, you're exploiting that feature of the get it in 2 days. And yeah, I mean, that model did work. But if now we're saying the buy box is changing, Amazon has to be more fair to consumers and sellers, and now they have to share the buy box with MF sellers, it just means that the books will be more properly valued for what they're worth. Meaning that if you buy a $4 book for $1 and the buy box at 19 no longer exists, and now it's a buy box at 7, well, now you actually lost money if you try to sell it. So I would say rescan it with Keepa and just confirm that those books actually hold value. And Victor, what would we say for a book that, like, if the book's black line has to be like at least $15?
Yeah, I was about to say if the average black line
value
for the last year has been at least $15 or higher, those are probably books I would keep, right? Yeah. That and books that have historically like sold out as far as like the used offer count has went down to 0. Those are probably really good books. Those are safe bets because if the book is constantly selling out, who cares if they're whatever the buy box or whatever, you're going to be the buy box, right? Because there's only you. So that's probably also something I would probably definitely check off on. And of course, you guys know I do a lot of seasonal books. So I would also check on the seasonality of a book. If I have a Christmas book, I'll go back to last Christmas of that Keepa chart to see how well it was doing. And so not necessarily passing up on it just because it's $2 now and it says that the Amazon's selling it for $5. Well, go back and look see how much that book was actually selling for last Christmas.
Yep. We get a lot of heat for that, by the way, saying that people are buying worthless books. We get a lot of heat for that. People don't like that at all.
But it worked.
Do this.
Huh? It worked. It worked in the past, though. That prime bump. I mean, people made money with it. I mean, but now things are changing.
Knocking that. There's no knocking that. But the thing is, if it doesn't work anymore, then it's not a profitable business model, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's going to be so interesting to see like those people who have 1,000 to 2,000 books in their inventory. Their average selling price is $15, and 80% of their items, like there's merchants on it for $5, $6, $7 all day long. There's a lot of people who run models like that, and it worked. Maybe it will.
And now those books are going to sell for $7 or $8, and that's it. There's no way out of that. It's hard to see.
So what should they do right now? Should they lower their price and try to match the merchants now and lose a bunch of money, or wait it out for a couple of weeks to see what happens? Because I keep getting asked that question. And I'm like, damn, that's a tough question. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I would still say maybe wait around a little bit, see where this goes. Like I said, I think Amazon is testing with the used buy box. And if there is this lawsuit, right there, who's to say that Amazon doesn't win it, right? I mean, with our political climate and with Jeff Bezos and stuff, like, you never know. Like, it could be completely dismissed and the buy box goes back to how it used to be. It's a tough situation. I would say that the business model already at the beginning was like skating on thin ice. And now that ice is starting to crack. So what do you now do when you're kind of drowning in water? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I would say whatever loses you the least amount of money. Would be
I would definitely wait a few weeks because you never know, right? We had, if you recall, like during COVID times, we had those high priced errors, and almost every book we had was a high priced error because they went to like the retail value of a book, and they only allowed us to go 20% higher than the retail value of a book. And a lot of these books were like stopped selling in the 1970s, and so that book was $7.99, and now on Amazon is constantly going for 60. But because of the 20% thing, everyone was getting high priced errors, and that took about 2 weeks to fix. So and then everyone was able to get back to selling. So I remember that. I recall that in 2020, and took about 2 weeks. So we're still kind of within that range right now. That I would just say kind of wait a few more weeks. If things don't change, you're just probably going to have to try to get some of your money back. Good question, Steve.
It's kind of messed up though. Like if you think about it, right? Just to stand up for the people, like we paid money to send all this stuff to FBA because we knew like we're leveraging this prime bump. That's the only reason we did it. Like, and then on the back end, if we want to pull our inventory out, you're going to charge us multiple dollars per item. If you have 1,000, 2,000 books in there, that's $3,000-$4,000 to just get it out of there. It's like kind of like a bait and switch type of deal.
Yeah.
It's tough. It really is tough, and I do feel for that. But there's nothing you can do to go back and change the past. There's also nothing you can do to control the final outcome of what Amazon will decide to do. So you either have to, you're gonna have to find a solution. So I don't know. It's a really tough situation. But
I would definitely start sourcing differently. Right.
Yeah.
I would only be sending in books that are definitely the black line for the majority of the time is over $15. And that's how I'd correct the issue. Yeah, maybe I would lose on these books that are $8 for the next year, but at least we'll have some of my books that will be selling really well.
Go after those new DVDs, those new CDs. I mean, the people who are selling new aren't affected at all right now, but obviously there's risks involved and there's precautions you have to take, and you don't want to sell books as new. Someone was coming after me today when I was saying sell new, and I'm like, no, not books. Don't sell books as new. And you know what's messed up right now too? Yeah. And I feel bad for a lot of these booksellers. There's a lot of big booksellers who are switching all their conditions from used to new and taking advantage of it. That's a dirty little trick. And you're playing with fire. Because Amazon does not like that, and the publishers don't either. I would not recommend doing that to get a quick sale.
Either.
Yeah. I mean, part of the case, think of it from Amazon's perspective, right? Obviously, Amazon was doing what they've done because it was beneficial to them, right? The reason why if they had no rules or regulations, they would just do whatever that they wanted to do, whatever was most profitable for them. And so now if you have to think about, let's say, a lawsuit being brought against them, saying that this is unfair to sellers and consumers, what are they trying to do? They're trying to show like, well, hey, we took all these FBA sellers and look how all their sales just plummeted when we changed the buy box. Oh, so you're telling us that doesn't hurt sellers too? Or are they going to be like, look at all these consumers that thought they were buying brand new books, very good condition books, and they got all this garbage and trash because of these changes that we
and how many negative feedbacks they're going to get because they're not going to get it in 2 days. They automatically assume when they click buy it now that they're going to get it in 2 days, and they're not, because they're getting it from merchant fulfilled sellers who will send it to them in 1 to 2 weeks.
So interesting times for sure. Would we adjust BookMine with the change? No, there's nothing to adjust BookMine with, because remember, BookMine doesn't look at the used buy box, because we're not basing what we think we should sell the book for based upon the buy box. We're basing it off of what the book has been selling for at the lowest price.
Yeah, we've never looked at the used buy box. Matter of fact, we talked about it when we first were building BookMine. We both decided that it's not worth it. It's not actually a good indicator. So we scrapped it and used better indicators to figure out the intrinsic value of a book.
Yep.
Does somebody have a Nicorette in their mouth? I hear something. Good. Just making sure.
Good.
Yeah. So Gary has a good question. He said, what do you think of using the Amazon freer pricer to match the buy box? So remember, right now, Amazon's feeding incorrect data to all the third-party softwares. They're using their... So
I wonder if they use their own third-party software, if they use their own API.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I've actually experimented using the Amazon repricer now, and it does look to be much more accurate. So, I mean, I'm not saying complete switch every single listing that you have from whatever current repricer you're using over to the Amazon seller repricer, but I've already seen good things on the listings that I've done it on. So
yeah, because we checked it a couple of days ago, right, Joji? Where on your third-party repricer it's telling you had the buy box, and we went to go and check, and you didn't. And we both decided to go try the Amazon repricer, and it seemed to be working much better.
Isn't there a discrepancy on like Seller Central Like what
Yeah.
Seller Central shows the buy box is?
On the page, yes, but actually when it's competing, it actually competes it correctly, which is
Yeah.
again 2 different departments not working together with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a quick screenshot of my sales. I give all credit of my success to Taylor Jones.
Let's go.
74,000 on one of my accounts, and we're doing wholesale. You can see there's a little bit of dip in sales, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
So that means you made $374,000.
Yeah,
Yep.
just about. Yeah,
You're rich.
You must be rich, Avery.
I've actually made double that was before the fees. So
Multi-millionaire.
Share your money printer.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
yeah, I'll be buying drinks for everyone at Miami. Just kidding. Corey Gannon who's doing the after party on Thursday night at a penthouse. So what people have loved about Miami in the past, and if you guys went to Books and Beyond, big shout out to whoever booked the Airbnb. I think it was Joji or Victor. You guys got the Airbnb. That was dope.
Yeah.
Like me personally, that
was
my
cool.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of these events is just hanging out. So like this year at Miami, we're just gonna try to maximize the amount of time spent like having drinks, talking with sellers, brushing shoulders with all of these people you see on the page are gonna be there. And so really like what we do is we just bring like these top players in the game. Scott Needham, who's been I think he's been a top 10 Amazon seller, maybe at least top 50. And he's done 50 million in 1 year. We got Reezy Resells, OG in the YouTube space. We got Stefan Does Business, did 1.7 million in 25 days in December at like a 20% margin doing online arbitrage. Rebecca Martinez, Amazon Lit, like the speaker lineup is stacked. We've got all these sponsors, but it's going to be a big event this year. We're going to be going from Wednesday night all the way to Saturday. Saturday, we're going to be on the yacht. And the goal of this event is to focus on networking and focus on giving all you guys the opportunity to brush shoulders with each other. And it's kind of a weird event because we got the booksellers coming. We got the wholesale people coming. Me and Taylor have a big interest in private label, so we've invited some new private label speakers. And it's just kind of cool for everyone to talk to each other. Like the used book guys are going to be talking about the buy box and what's going on there. And then, some wholesalers never heard of the issue before. And then some private label seller is going to talk about something they're dealing with, and like we got TikTok shop people coming. We got on both sides. We got
prep centers coming, right? Last year we did. Yep.
Yeah, we got a shout out to which prep center sponsored us this year? Taylor.
It's a 3PL logistics. Hold on, I can tell you. Oh, if you want to show them a picture of the yacht too, Avery, it's called the Biscayne Lady.
Oh,
It looks pretty. If you want to Google it, you don't have to, but
yeah, I'm just scared if I start typing in something on my computer.
Here, I can share. Here, let me. Well, let me share my screen here.
It's one of two things. It's a bad website or it's his whole supplier. I'm trying to figure out which one he was trying to reference.
Maybe
How
both.
do you
see all my wholesale suppliers and bad websites at the same time?
Is it showing my screen?
No,
yeah, I'll pop it up. Boom.
Okay, so that's the boat right there. Not this. Oh, there's the baby. Not this one, but here I can pull it up. This is this one. We upgraded, Avery. I upgraded for a couple more grand without your permission. It's this one right here.
Wow.
The Biscayne Lady.
Wow.
Sail in style.
What is it? 28,000.
Yeah, 28, something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Join this event is like
it's so
really
much fun.
fun.
It's so much fun connecting with everybody. Yeah.
It's
so
also
much
really
value in just connecting with people.
The venue's not cheap. The venue's like ridiculously expensive, and then the yacht's expensive. And like every year, we're like, are people even going to show up? People show up. So,
yeah. So everyone here will be there, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear. So we'll all be there. We'll have a good time. Yeah. I mean, I've said the story before, but like going to events like this really changed the trajectory of my life in many ways. Like, I met Steve Rakin at Miami Sellers Conference. We had already been talking, and we built the Virtual Assistant Academy. We built the A2A Masterclass as well, and then end up meeting Victor through all this. And so it's just like so much of I feel like my success was from actually like going to a live event. So I would say if you're somebody who's really hungry, like you're really eager to build connections and get something positive out of that, like live events are the way to go. So, there's a couple ways to think of it. It's like, yeah, it might be expensive to go, but if you're going with a particular reason that, hey, I want to network with these individuals and that can lead to something down the road, it pays dividends like crazy. So.
And if it's also expensive to go, that means there's not going to be a bunch of poor people there.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
There you go.
And
Tell
then
me how you
seriously,
really feel.
Networking is so important.
We're raising
Yeah.
the price $200 next Friday. I was taking a hot bath last night, and I was like, I'm gonna stop being such a pussy, and I'm gonna raise these prices every week until the event happens. And so that's what we're gonna do, Taylor. We're gonna keep raising the price because it is true what Taylor said. He's making a joke, but every year we've raised the prices and more valuable attendees have come. Because even if you are poor and you're willing to pay $1,000 for a ticket, like you're a very highly driven person. So you're
paying attention to everything that goes on, right?
Yeah. And so while we're not the biggest event out there, there's events that are bigger like AS. I was looking at the event. What's the group called? The ASTG,
Titan?
Yeah.
Or I don't know what it is.
But they have an event with like 1,000 people, but the tickets are like $100, and somehow they include food with their ticket. But I guarantee you, like I've gone to these other events. Amazon puts on a good fucking conference themselves. Like Amazon Accelerate is a good conference. It's got like 5 levels. Like the basement floor's got drinks, and like the tickets are expensive there too. But you don't get the same feeling that you get at Miami. At Miami,
he's the only one that went to Amazon Accelerate and got his account shut down.
you have to have an active Amazon account to get in. And I go in there. This is a true story. I'm like waiting to get in with one of the biggest booksellers on Amazon, probably the biggest bookseller on Amazon. And I'm like, can I use your account? And he's like, oh, I don't know if the team would like that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'll just use my friend's account. And my friend's account ended up getting shut down. And as you guys, because I went in there and I talked to seller support and I brought up an old account of mine from years ago that was shut down. And they were like, wait, what's the store IDs? Linked the 2 stores together on my plane flight home. After talking with this lady in person, I get an email, just a generic email. Your accounts have been linked. And I'm like, Amazon has no soul at all. But their event was good. All you could drinks in the basement, like 1,000 different sponsors. But what I will say is it's very corporate feeling, and it lacks the nicheness that we have, even though it's like booksellers and wholesalers and online arbitrage sellers. Like it sounds like we're all like way different. We're all arbitragers. And we even private label and TikTok shop people, but we're all like together. Most of us know each other from social media. Like we know Amazon Lit, we know Larry Watch Me Amazon, Joji Davenport, Steve Rake, Victor. Like everyone's there. It kind of feels like a family reunion. Whereas these other conferences, even AMZ United, which is great. Hopefully they'll take this feedback. It was like a good event. The right people were in the room, and then it was just done. Like at the end of the day, just done. And what we try to do at Miami is keep the party going. So like after all this energy throughout the day, we say, hey, go back to your room, shower. And then at night, everyone wants to do something.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to, like, you never want to go to one of these events like Amazon Accelerate. People want to go and talk to like seller support. They want to talk to the $1 million private label sellers. Like they want to find like the cool people to hang out with. And some people go to Amazon Accelerate and they just don't hang out with anyone all weekend because they're like, they just don't know how to network or whatever. What we do at Miami is like, we force it upon you. Like we really, you'd have to be an extremely, we don't even let it happen. Even if you're a weirdo, like we force you to have fun. Go connect. We're gonna give you the alcohol if we see you in the corner, like, and
this is not so real. We're gonna give you alcohol even if you're hiding in the corner.
You'll find your tribe, basically, is whatever you're saying. Yeah, you'll find people who will help you out. Yeah.
No, it's true, and you get all these people, and I don't know, it just makes me happy seeing different people talk to each other. Mm-hmm. Maybe people who were enemies on social media, maybe the weirdo who thought they couldn't have any friends, and now they've got 3 new friends. So at Miami, we make you feel comfortable.
Yeah,
I think it's for
me too. I think one of the things I love about it is we work, so hard all year, and oftentimes it's in the, our own home and our office, and we're kind of in a tunnel, and to go and really celebrate all the progress that we've made in our businesses with other business owners, I know for me is one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, Taylor just likes to brag and make the whole event about him. And
I'll say this right now.
Me, damn it.
I'll say this right now. I've got a couple of people going into Hollywood Beach a few days before. So if anyone's in the area and a part of the event a couple of days before, link up with me. We're gonna have some dinner events and networking and hang out at the beach, talk shop. That's actually how I learned about selling on Walmart.
Yeah,
at the last MSC.
We're gonna have a lot of Walmart people. Amanda's gonna be talking. I think I'm gonna get Crazy Flippin' Mom. There's a few Walmart people we're gonna have. So I know most Amazon.
Bro, get flipping with Amanda on stage, bro.
Let's go.
With Amanda.
Get her on stage, man.
We might. We'll talk about it. We have a very. I already have both days planned out. Like my intention this year, just
I'm not going anymore.
Yeah, if Amanda's not on stage, it's a no-go for me.
This year is to take the speakers who have done the best in the past and just maximize their stage time. And Books and Beyond modeled what we did at Miami, which was like 20 minute, 20 minute, 20 minute, 20 minute. But this year, what we're going to be doing is giving like Amazon Lit, who always like goes out and fucking stands on chairs and brings the energy and everyone feels like hypnotized after they talk. We're just going to give them way more time. And then in the afternoon, these niche topics like Amanda and like maybe flipping books on, from Amazon to Amazon and maybe private label, we're going to break them out into different rooms because we have like 5 different rooms we can use. And then we could even use outside and stuff too. And that way someone doesn't have to listen to something they don't really want to. But even though Amazon Lit's like wholesale, like big warehouse, and that doesn't really pertain to all sellers, they do such a good job of just bringing the energy and teaching overall business principles. So that's kind of my intention this year. We'll see how it goes, but we really want to like control the energy of the room and like hypnotize you guys so you guys keep coming back over and over again and build your businesses in the process.
That's a good vision. Cool.
Yeah,
I'm pumped. I'm pumped for it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're like 2 months away.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy times.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's coming up quick. Jeez.
Prices are going up soon, and the only reason why like all this relationship exists here is because we all met in person.
That's true.
And what Steve's doing is a prime example of what I encourage all you guys to do, which is network with people that you're going with. You get a little pre-networking group going before the event even starts. That's where the magic happens. So really encouraged to do that, and don't be afraid to break out of your clique too. Like if you go with all the eBay to Amazon people, like stay with them, but get some drinks and get loose and go talk to the private label crew. You never know. Like keep your mind open to all the opportunity that exists. Like keep your mind open to TikTok Shop. Because we called it Miami Sellers Conference because I knew that Amazon could pull some fuck shit one day, which they always do. And like we're just selling shit online. We don't care how we sell it. It just so happens that Amazon's the biggest sales channel right now. Yeah.
Let's go. It's a great location too, because it's the same location as last year, right, Avery?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I heard the yacht is going to be right in front of the hotel this time too, which is even because we did that a few years back.
Yep. There's a river, Miami River. The Hyatt backs up to the river. During the conference, during the day, you can walk outside and see a beautiful view of the Miami River and Bay. And that's where the yacht's going to depart on Saturday. And then the after party is going to be there on night 2. And night 1, the after party is going to be the only event you have to travel out of the hotel for is after party night 1 is going to be at a penthouse nearby. Everything else is at the Hyatt. All of the conference, the after party, the yacht. So
wow, the penthouse is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
The yacht,
that was a lot of fun at Books and Beyond.
Taylor, the yacht is Saturday, right? Saturday night. Is that
it's more of a paddle boat. No,
great. I love paddle boats.
Wear a life jacket, Joji.
An army of canoes. That'll be Saturday from 6 to 10, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's roughly the time.
Is it bigger than last year, the yacht?
I just upgraded it. It was a couple grand more. I was like,
that's a serious boat. Like this is like actually like to be 100% like honest, like it's a serious freaking boat. It's legit.
And well, you know why I did it too was last year everybody wanted to be up on the top deck, and you really couldn't be enough room. And this year there's going to be even bigger top deck. So yeah, it'll be good.
Awesome.
That's so much fun.
Oh,
Let's do it.
very cool, guys.
Let's do it. Tickets are going up $200, $600 for 3 packs in a week. So, and I'm gonna keep raising the price. Like the ticket prices are gonna be like 10 grand by the time the event comes around. So,
I think it's actually cool though that this year you guys are doing bundles. So like you have 1 ticket for $5.97 or 3 tickets for $12.50. I mean, if you have like friends or family, that's like a killer deal, honestly.
We might have to steal that for Books and Beyond, dude.
I know, right?
I think we should do it because people talk to each other. They're like, and it kind of forces networking before the event starts. If you think about it, because people start to like, hey, are you going? Are you going? Are you going? And then they like kind of go together with their little clique versus just buying like a ticket by themselves.
I got people cool in the house.
We already sold like 50 tickets, right, to Books and Beyond. So
yeah, that's gonna be great. I'm pumped up for that too.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, you guys are doing it for a second year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When is that going to be?
Yeah, we didn't go bankrupt yet.
October, and is it going to be in Vegas again?
Yeah.
Vegas again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Basically, same hotel, same place. We got a killer deal last year, so we're able to bring it back.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Who was that lady again who was running it for us? The sweetest lady. What's her name?
Vinny.
Danny.
She called me actually. I talked to her yesterday. She's really excited about bringing us all back.
Oh, God.
She wanted to make sure all of us were coming. I'm like, no, yeah, definitely everyone there. Oh, great. The wild one? You mean Avery? Yeah, like, Avery's coming.
I think I cracked out that weekend because I was like so energetic and I was popping so much nicotine. I was like, I think I did like 8 milli nicotine packs. I just popped like 30 a day.
Yeah, but we're clean now. We should make our announcement. Avery and I are clean. I don't know if Taylor is.
I thought you relapsed, bro. I heard you chewing over there.
Oh no, these are. I'm chewing Neuro gum.
I heard those are good.
Caffeine. Yeah, I had to get off the nicotine because I was getting really cracked out on those things. You got me hooked on them at the freaking Oklahoma mastermind, the E2A mastermind a year ago. It's all your fault.
I know Avery's a bad influence. You have to be careful hanging out with him.
Blame me for your addictions.
Yeah. Now I'm going to be addicted to going on yachts.
I blame hormones for all this. You get one jacked alpha male who's an entrepreneur that starts talking about nicotine and everyone starts doing it.
Shut up.
Hey, we got Samuel with Be Cool in the house. What's up, Samuel?
Hey, Samuel.
Oh, I'm a jacked alpha male. Oh.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Joji, you owe me $10. We bet. No.
I'm coming to Taylor Jones's house. He's been his estrogen levels are kind of peaking right now.
We're getting off topic here, but how did you decide to climb the Mexican wall or the U.S.-Mexico wall?
Dude, my girlfriend lives like right next to the fucking wall, and she says in the summertime they just get a ladder, and the police don't care. The police just drive by, and they get a big ladder, and people just climb over the wall in the summer. And I like looked at it. I'm like, I could climb this thing, and I started climbing it, and it's literally so easy to climb. If I had a ratchet strap, I could throw it over the top, grab it. I'm not joking. Connect it, and then climb over, and get over just like that. Like. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Did everybody see the video where like your girlfriend didn't think you were gonna climb it and like halfway up she's like, Avery, stop it.
Yes.
She's like, holy fucking shit. And she like opens up the door. But
yeah. I showed it to my wife, and I was like, yeah, that's the guy I work with.
It makes sense though. Like, they say how you do one thing is how you do everything. And like look at I've had like 10 account shutdowns and I'm still going. So
Brian says, can I get a refund for Miami Seller Conference ticket? Not sure I can handle more Avery. He's joking. He's a good guy. What's up, Brian?
What's up?
Last year I threw Taylor.
Yeah.
That was a little bit much. You know, I forget who it was there, but I remember there was a girl that saw that happen.
Yeah, what's her name? Blonde hair girl. She was at AMZ United too.
She was grossed out.
She never seen an alpha male before.
Jumping in the river. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this, Joji?
I think we
no
have
comment, guys. No comment.
Don't
We
give
get in
Avery
trouble.
ideas.
we get in trouble if someone jumps off the yacht in the water. I think there's like a contract that
I don't think that stopped you before. I think it's more.
at the venue they never had the
Successful.
contract. That's why we jumped in.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Cade and Trevin Peterson, who will both be speaking this year. They also got in the river. It was actually their idea to get in the river. So,
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, how about I just throw Taylor in? They were like, all right.
Dude, Trevin is killing it with TikTok Shop. That guy is all over the place.
Who?
I know. Yeah. I
Trevin,
wonder how
I
much
wonder
he's
how much-
making.
Yeah, seriously, he's got. I bet you he's doing like 30 to 50K a month. I bet you. Like I wouldn't be shocked. Like profit.
Money glitch.
Yeah. I think TikTok Shop is really interesting and encouraging for just people who have their own products on Amazon. If it happens, their product can also be promoted on TikTok Shop. That's like really cool. A lot of potential there. But all right, guys, ticket prices go up $200 next week, and we'll probably keep raising the price like every week after that. Definitely one more big price increase before the event as well. So if you guys are buying the 3-pack, you'll save $600 if you purchase in the next week versus waiting until then. So
You could
Much
just
love
buy
that.
3 and then resell them, right?
Resell them to other people want to go. Yeah.
resell 2 of them. Yeah.
that might be better than flipping books right now.
Right.
Yeah.
In March.
We're not
Right.
going to try and stop that.
Oh, well, there you go.
We encourage.
Conference mine.
I think it's happened a few times in the past. A few people have done that.
Yeah.
Prime bump on
I
the
bump
MSD tickets.
tickets.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We'll see you guys in Miami.
It was fun.
And,
See you guys there.
All right,
See you in
guys.
Miami.
Have a good night.
Peace.
boom.